What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA
Monday, September 7th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, NBA playoffs. Let's take a look at this 2-game main slate. So at the point guard position, I like this FanDuel price a lot better, but with the usage and the role this guy has in the playoffs, I guess you're going to have to deal with the FanDuel price. So I like Kyle Lowry from the Toronto Raptors playing the Boston Celtics, who have a good defense overall, and they've been good versus opposing point guards. Kyle Lowry has averaged 39.2 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 36 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. He's projected at 45.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's $9,200 FanDuel salary and $1,000 less on DraftKings. So I love that DraftKings price. Now look guys, he scored 53, and 46 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 43, 46, and 40 minutes. So monster minutes, monster production. So I like Kyle Lowry here versus the Boston Celtics. Okay, and the other point guard, he's in the same boat here. I like Jamal Murray from the Denver Nuggets playing the LA Clippers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. And although they've been pretty good versus opposing point guards, Jamal Murray has averaged 32.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 25% usage rate. He's projected at 39.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.6 times value. He's $8,500 FanDuel salary and $400 more on DraftKings. So he scored 46 fantasy points last game, playing 39 minutes. So he can get you between 40 and 50 plus fantasy points. But the 2 games before that, he only scored 26 fantasy points. So he's been hot, then he was cold, now he's hot again. So I would prefer Kyle Lowry here if I'm going to pay up. But I do like Jamal Murray here versus the LA Clippers. And just a quick mention here, if you want to pay down at the point guard position, take a look at Lou Williams and Patrick Beverley. Now, Lou Williams has a better FanDuel price, only $5,100 FanDuel salary, and he's $700 more on DraftKings, whereas Patrick Beverley has a better DraftKings price where he's $4,800 on FanDuel, but he's $1,100 less on DraftKings. So I would play Patrick Beverley on DraftKings and Lou Williams on FanDuel. Okay, moving on to the shooting guard position. I like Paul George from the LA Clippers playing the Denver Nuggets, who have a good defense overall, and they've been good versus opposing shooting guards. But Paul George has averaged 36.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with a 30% usage rate. He's projected at 38.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's $7,800 FanDuel salary and $500 more on DraftKings. Now, he finally picked it up last game. He's been subpar performance, scoring only 31, 34 fantasy points in 2 or 3 games ago. But he scored 44 fantasy points in 41 minutes last game. That's what you're looking for. So hopefully he can keep that going here. So I like Paul George here versus the Denver Nuggets. Okay, if you're looking for a value play at the shooting guard position, take a look at Gary Harris from the Denver Nuggets playing the LA Clippers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they've been middle-of-the-pack defending opposing shooting guards. Gary Harris has averaged 20.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 15% usage rate. He's projected at 19.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's only 4.4 times value on FanDuel because he's $4,500 FanDuel salary, but he's $400 less on DraftKings. Vegas thinks there's going to be 219.5 points scored in this game, so I like Gary Harris here versus the LA Clippers.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. I like Kawhi Leonard from the LA Clippers playing the Denver Nuggets, who have a good defense overall, and they've been good versus opposing small forwards. Kawhi Leonard has averaged 47.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 33% usage rate. He's projected at 49.7 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.7 times value. He scored 45, 43, and 72 fantasy points in the last 3 games, so he's got some monster upside. He's $10,600 FanDuel salary and $300 less on DraftKings. Vegas thinks there's going to be 219.5 points scored in this game, so I like Kawhi Leonard here versus the Denver Nuggets. Okay, if you're looking for a mid-range or value play here at the small forward position, take a look at Jeremiah Grant from the Denver Nuggets playing the LA Clippers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they've been good versus opposing small forwards, but Jeremiah Grant has averaged 21.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 27 minutes per game with an 18% usage rate. He scored 31 fantasy points in 40 minutes last game, and he's projected at 23.2 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.6 times value. He's 5,000 FanDuel salary and 200 more on DraftKings. There's not a lot of quality players to give you salary relief here, so I think Jeremiah Grant is that guy, and we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 219.5 points scored in this game, so I like Jeremiah Grant here versus the LA Clippers. Okay, who do we have at the power forward position? I like Marcus Morris from the LA Clippers playing the Denver Nuggets, who have a good defense overall, and they've been good versus opposing power forwards. Marcus Morris has averaged 26.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 31 minutes per game with a 22% usage rate. He's projected at 23.7 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.7 times value. He's $5,100 FanDuel salary and the same price on DraftKings. So I like Marcus Morris here versus the Denver Nuggets. Okay, the other power forward that I like here is Michael Porter Jr. from the Denver Nuggets playing the LA Clippers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Michael Porter Jr. has averaged 18.2 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 16 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. Now, he scored 25 fantasy points in 16 minutes last game. If this guy can just get around 20 minutes or more, he can put up some big numbers. He's projected at 23.7 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.7 times value. He's 5,000 FanDuel salary and the same price on DraftKings. So I like that price on both sites. So I like Michael Porter Jr. here versus the LA Clippers.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.